In this video, I'm sharing with you my fingerstyle arrangement of pure imagination. So let's begin with a demo, and then we'll move into our tutorial. If you're enjoying this arrangement, please show my channel some love by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Lara. I'm a musician and a composer, and I love to share fingerstyle arrangements and song tutorials for all levels. If you'd like to support my teaching and my channel by joining my Patreon community, you'll gain access to hundreds of downloads, including fingerstyle tabs, song sheets, and song books. The link is down below in the video description. This arrangement is for low G tuning, and next in our lesson, we'll walk through how to play the verses and the chorus step by step. We begin measure 1 with an artificial harmonic. Here we have our fret hand, index finger, and middle finger covering the first and second frets of the first string. And on our picking hand, we're going to use our index finger right over the 14th fret of the first string, gently resting on the string. We have our thumb a few inches behind our index finger, and when we pick the string with our thumb, we'll immediately lift up our index finger, creating the harmonic. Then we're going to lift up our middle finger to pick the first fret of the first string, and then we'll place our middle finger back down on the second fret to complete measure 1. In measures 2 and 3, we'll repeat the same 3 notes. In the middle of measure 4, we begin our first verse, picking the 4th string with our middle finger on the 2nd fret. Then we'll pick the open 3rd string, and moving into measure 5, we're going to place our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 3, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. We'll play an arpeggio or a broken chord through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll pick the 4th string, then the open 3rd string, and then in measure 6, we're going to place our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, this time keeping the 4th string open. Once again, we'll play an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we're going to pick the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Here you can use your index finger or your middle finger. Then the open 3rd string to end measure 6. And in measure 7, we're going to place our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Then we'll go back and forth between the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret to finish measure 7, placing our pinky down and lifting it back up. In measure 8, we'll keep our ring finger in place, and we'll add our index finger to the 1st fret of the 3rd string, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings. Then we'll use our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and we end measure 8 with the open 3rd string. In measure 9, we'll use our middle finger and ring finger on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 3, with the 2nd string open. We'll play an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll use our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And in measure 10, you can use either your ring finger or your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Here we'll play an arpeggio once again through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll pick the 3rd string, the open 3rd string, and now we go to the 4th fret of the 4th string using our ring finger, and we'll go back and forth between the 5th fret and the 4th fret using our pinky. We end measure 11 with the open 4th string. And then in measure 12, we go to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, then the open 3rd string, and now we have repeat bars, so we'll go back to measure 5. Now for our second ending, going from measure 10 to measure 13, we'll go to the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then we're going to go up to the 7th fret of the 2nd string using our index finger, placing down our middle finger on the 8th fret of the 3rd string and our ring finger on the 9th fret of the 4th string. We'll play an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2, and then in measure 14 we'll pick the 4th string, 3rd string, and then 2nd string. In measure 15 we'll move this chord up 1 fret, playing an arpeggio through strings 4, 3, and 2. And now we're going to use our pinky to go back and forth between the 10th fret of the 2nd string and the 8th fret. In measure 16, we'll go to an E minor 7 chord with our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string and our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then we'll place our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and we'll end measure 16 with the open 2nd string. In measure 17, we'll use our middle finger and ring finger on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 3, and we'll use our index finger to go back and forth between the 1st fret of the 2nd string and the open 2nd string. And then we'll end measure 17 with the open 3rd string. In measure 18, we begin with an arpeggio on all open strings through strings 4, 3, and 2. Then we'll use our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. In measure 19, we'll use our index finger, middle finger, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of strings 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll use our pinky to go back and forth between the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret. At the end of measure 19, we'll place our pinky on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and then moving into measure 20, we'll place down our ring finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string and our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So the 1st and 4th strings are open. We'll play an arpeggio through all 4 strings, and then we'll place down our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. In measure 21, we'll place our index finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, playing an arpeggio through all 4 strings, and then we'll use our ring finger to go back and forth between the 2nd fret of the 1st string and the open 1st string. And then our final note in measure 21 is the 2nd fret of the 4th string using our index finger. In measure 22, we'll use our ring finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Then we'll go back to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, this time also picking the 3rd string as well. And now we'll move our index finger to the 1st fret of the 3rd string, again picking strings 3 and 4 together. And then we'll place our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, once again picking strings 3 and 4. So here's the sequence of notes from the end of measure 21 through measure 22. Now you've learned how to play the verses and the chorus, and the rest of this arrangement will look very familiar as it's mostly a repeat of what we've covered. For more of my easy fingerstyle tabs and tutorials, see this playlist here. Have fun learning pure imagination, and thanks for watching.